if that thing's on. The speaker on that one.
Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody.
Well, I don't know if the speaker's on the other one.
It's on. Everybody. What episode is this?
36.
Welcome to Gun Coffee and Bullshit, episode 36.
I'm gonna get the.
We're getting on started on Facebook as normal. We're a little bit behind. Thank you all again for joining us as usual. We're not social distancing, we're just missing our guests so far.
Alright. I think it's on. Alright, we're live. Alright.
Yeah, hey everybody on Facebook.
Facebook.
Episode 36,
Instagram.
Coffee and Bullshit.
Camera looks good today.
I'm awfully shiny today.
Yeah, my goatee's a little. I got like the one black streak coming down.
I see it. Looks almost perfect, like you did it on purpose.
Yeah, almost.
That's just a little bit of youth you have left, right there.
A little bit.
It's coming in from the outsides and coming around.
I still got like this part here, which is still.
Do I have any dark? No, that's all gray now.
Yeah.
It's funny, I noticed like the grays have a mind of their own no matter what. If I don't trim it, the grays like stick up, they stick out, so I was taking like the trimmer and just doing like little ones at a time.
Yeah, the grays just kind of go their own way.
Just do whatever the hell they want to
Their
do.
own mind. So we're supposed to have Matt on here. He's running a few minutes late. And got some good questions for a free.
We'll get to win a bag of coffee.
Win a bag of coffee. That's right.
We have the question and the answer today.
Last week's winner never replied that I saw of.
They didn't?
No, I didn't see
If
it.
you're last week's winner, reply today if you're joining us. Make sure you get your bag of coffee sent out. We need your address, name to do it. You send us a DM, slide in our DMs, send us your stuff.
You got any questions you want us to answer? Anything you want to talk about? Send us, of course, comment. We'll talk
We're
about
watching.
it. Yeah, so.
Let's see, I think we're going to war in two fronts within the next 6 months. I think we'll be in war in Taiwan and a war in Ukraine.
Well, that's going to be a tricky one.
Once a country kicks out our ambassadors, like Russia kicked out the 9 ambassadors at the embassy.
Yeah, but we've kicked out theirs.
Right, but it's pretty much a start.
Yeah.
Right, or maybe they're just pushing for a good Cold War. Drive some manufacturing, drive our economy up.
It will drive the economy up to keep that manufacturing going.
Something has to happen because with all the stimulus money we've been giving away, we have to pay for that eventually. And if they're not going to raise interest rates, we're going to get murdered by inflation. The dollar will become worthless unless we.
You think he'll say, China, we won't pay you back?
That's why we're going to go to war with them.
That'd be the best.
If we make them surrender, that'll be part of the terms of surrender. Is you forgive all our debt. How else are we going to pay them back? We just went. What was the first thing? It was $2 trillion. The second one was how much? 1.8 or 1.9 trillion.
There's been six stimulus passed.
What?
Since
I only got 2.
Well, but the other ones were for other stuff that didn't matter anything
right.
for
So
people.
let's say they average 2 trillion each. There's another 12 trillion on top of the 30 trillion we owe China right now. So how are we ever going to pay them back? And where does the magical 12 trillion come from?
Well, you take $1, you plant it, you put some water on it.
Just call the Federal Reserve and say print some more money. No, the problem is where it comes from is government bonds. They start putting bonds out, but they're not raising the interest rates on the bonds, so you're making that money worthless. Who's going to buy bonds when the interest rates crap on it? And so they're taking loans.
Yeah.
They're taking loans against. It's the federal government taking loans to give everybody money, which I understand. People are in a bad situation. They need it. I don't think everybody needs it. I didn't need the last money I got. I could have done without it.
I could have done without it.
I would have rather they said, all right, you get a tax break. You don't get the cash, but you get a tax break next year. I would have rather that. That would have been better. Been better for us and better for the business. I think that would also have said like, hey, do you want the money or do you want a tax break? That would have been awesome.
That would take a lot of government employees to think too much.
Of course, it would accept send like an email or something and then verify it's the person. Why? They know everybody's phone number. They could just have
But you wouldn't believe if they called.
That's true.
That's right.
You're a scammer from India.
You'd have to send a certified letter.
Listen, we have this $5,000 we want to release to you. Before we do though, we need your email, your verification. Yeah, screw you. What are you, Nairobi Prince?
You would save a lot of money.
I would have rather they said, hey, do you want the cash or do you want a tax break? I would have definitely jumped on the tax break instead.
Can you split it?
Sure, year over year.
Yeah.
They could have said you can have an extra $1,000 tax credit over the next 5 years. That would have been better for the government, better for the country, and that would have been fine. I would have taken that. I mean, it's nice. It's nice to get free money, but
I mean, people are starting to get back to work.
yeah, I know.
People are getting vaccinated. Whatever you feel about vaccines or vaccinated, if you are, great.
Everyone in my job's already got their second shot.
Really?
The United Center did a mass vaccination.
Oh.
And so, you have to go for your two, but it was 2 weeks apart.
Right.
So everybody lied and said they were essential. No one got their shots. I didn't rush to go get it. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'll wait till 2025. In case you guys turn into zombies,
Really?
we can do some target
Johnson
practice.
Johnson vaccine's bad. The AstraZeneca vaccine's bad now. Now they're stopping all of them. So
And the vaccine only lasts 6 months to a year. So it's just like the flu shot. You have to get another flu shot.
the funny thing is, Fauci and Rand Paul were arguing,
Right.
and Paul's saying, why would you tell people they still have to wear a mask, and why are you double masking if you got the vaccine?
Yeah.
So you're saying the vaccine's is worthless, and Fauci said, no, it's not. It's not worthless. There's just a bunch of wild variants out there. So what are you vaccinating against then? Just one strain? But it doesn't matter, so we'll have to wear masks forever. So,
But the variants can move faster, but they're less deadly, technically.
right. So
I just take my chances.
So you're not really protected even when you get the vaccine.
You can still catch the.
You still have to double mask everywhere to be safe. So nothing's changed. But you can go to ball games. You can go and do everything now. Go to concerts, which I like. I think it's great.
But on ball games, they're only letting a certain amount, right?
Mm.
Well, in Texas, no.
Texas, they had full capacity.
Right. But here in Illinois,
the state doesn't count.
no, it's.
Nothing here makes sense. It's all done based on fear and I don't know what else.
Democrats.
It just I don't know. For some reason, it'll cause taxes to go up. We have to raise taxes to fund the mask initiative. None of the money will ever be spent on masks. It'll go into some politician's pocket somewhere. And
The next one is that infrastructure, which is $9 billion, $12 billion, because it's their once in a lifetime chance. Whatever, but most of the money is not going to that.
Do you remember the last recession? They came out right after when they did stimulus back then for cities and stuff. They gave a bunch of money for infrastructure. In my town, the roads were in such good shape that what they started doing to spend that money, because they had to spend that money, they started tearing up good roads and redoing them just to do something, because they had to do something for the money. Perfectly good roads that I watched them do a year before, they came back completely ripped up and redid just to spend that money, because they took it. Once you take it, you got to spend it, otherwise then it's fraud, right? So,
well, you think they should be able to take that money, save it for a rainy day. The roads do go bad. We have it. Maybe next year you don't get that same amount of money.
Why? Because it's just there's more money coming always. That's the mentality we've taught.
It shouldn't be the mentality anymore.
Just like the states, the money they get from the federal government. If you don't spend as much this year,
you won't get as much next year.
Right. So it's the dumbest system I've ever seen in my life. That if you don't need it, but we're still going to give it to you, and you're still going to increase it every year.
And
we wonder why the deficit's so high. Where's all the money go? It's a wasteful bullshit.
Well, if we ever did go to war against China, against Russia, well, it could be fighting three fronts, because it could go against Iran too. If Iran decided to invade.
Yeah, Iran will be coming up our backside while we're trying to fight Ukraine. That's a perfect time for Iran to attack, because we'll have our backs turned to them. We'll be fighting.
Make sure you lock the door. All right, cool, man. Come on in.
We'll be fighting on four fronts, and we'll be fighting backwards.
Well, the good thing is, if they ever tried to invade us, just like the Japanese were scared because we have a blade of grass, or
What's
a gun
happening?
behind every blade of grass.
Good to see you too.
What the fuck are you drinking?
Bang energy drink. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
It's not Gunbarrel.
And it's pink and blue.
And it's called Rainbow Unicorn.
Is it?
Yeah, it's super.
Takes
Super.
a hell of a man to drink a pink and blue drink.
Have you guys ever had it?
No.
Oh my god, it's fun.
Does it taste like
Those
unicorn piss?
energy drinks are bad for you.
This one's not. Look at this. See, look, 0 calories, 2% cholesterol, 0 sodium, no sugar.
It's not that. So the Red Bull, what Red Bull was doing was causing massive
I don't
kidney
know what this
stones.
is.
Well, I'm sure I'm gonna have them soon.
Have you ever had one?
No,
I had my first one 3 weeks ago.
it. Yeah.
I wanted to be dead instead.
rushed my wife to the hospital in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Last night?
No.
When she
Whenever
had
she,
she
Oh,
had
when
the
she
stone?
had the
all of a
stone?
sudden she woke up and she was like, "Oh my god, I can't move."
Yeah.
Like it was bad.
It was so bad, and the worst thing is it doesn't come in waves. It just starts, and then just progressively gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
No matter how bad you think it is right now,
Right.
it just continues to get worse. I was to the point where I've never puked uncontrollably for no reason in my life. I could not stop puking.
Yeah,
There's like it's because of the pain. Your body trying to fight the pain.
Yeah.
And I sat in the emergency room for an hour and a half, just in the bathroom, just forcibly throwing up until they gave me morphine. Finally, I begged them. The nurse was like, I was sweating profusely. And the nurse, I come to the window, I can barely stand. So the nurse was like, "Is there anything else I can do for him?" Like, shoot me. Shoot me.
I could imagine that.
I just wanted to be killed. I'm like, just please shoot me.
Right, I can imagine that.
I know you want to answer the phone.
When I saw a guy's kidney, he drank Red Bull, 2 Red Bulls a day for.
Pick up the phone.
Turn the volume down.
Well, I
Red
can't
Bull.
now because it's going to mess up the thing I've got.
Red Bull for two a day for like a year. They cut his kidney open, and the whole thing was stones from top to bottom. But the stones weren't like little kidney stones; they were pebbles.
Ah, jeez.
I was like, after I had one, I never
You're
walked
right,
out.
breaking bread with heroes.
Like my dad was the same way too with his, because he had his shortly before my wife didn't meet. It was terrible.
Yep. I remember taking my dad to the hospital twice for those.
My brother's had like 2 or 3, and he lives like a clean life. I mean,
That's probably why, though. Because you gotta have enough, citric acid in you.
Mhm.
You gotta have enough fiber, and then there's enough. What's the other thing? I think it seems like stuff that would be bad for you, but that's what stops the kidney stones from growing.
yeah.
So it's not just drinking water. It's
Creatine.
yeah. There's like other.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
creatine.
Creatine will do it to you.
Yeah, see, it's super creatine. You
Yeah,
know?
that's
Yeah.
bad. So
Super creatine.
creatine will cause the
Ultra
stones.
CoQ10.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good for your heart.
Aminos.
Yeah.
Super aminos. Whatever.
And the overabundance of amino acids, the overabundance of proteins. Or you gotta have protein, so that's what binds it, so you don't get the kidney stones. So
I got all of it in one can.
there you
There
go.
you go.
Should be ripped now. I just start drinking creatine every day.
No. I am.
You have to
Hair in my
exercise.
pants.
You have to exercise also.
Well, you still been working out and everything?
No.
No.
This is the worst time of year because it's the first time you go to put on your pair of shorts from last year. You're like, fuck, they don't fit this year.
Ah.
Taking my fast to the store.
So we were talking about if the U.S. would go to war with China over Taiwan and Ukraine, and I would say too is Iran.
So Iran will come up our backside while we're in the Ukraine.
Oh, I definitely, yeah.
I mean, if I was Iran, that's when I would attack.
And you know we don't have enough forces.
Yeah, no.
Do you know how far away the Black Sea is?
Yeah.
When you look at it on a map, like it's fucking far. And if they decide not to let us through the Suez Canal,
Yeah.
we can't get there with our ships.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we could.
The Suez
You
cuts
can.
that time in.
You go through the Mediterranean.
Yeah, you could go way
Yeah,
around.
but you still have to go through the Suez. Like, I mean,
You got to cut through the Suez to
Yeah.
get into the
The Suez.
Mediterranean to get into the Black Sea.
the Suez
No.
is a huge.
The Suez leads into the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean leads into the Black Sea.
Right?
You can bypass that.
Wow.
You don't need the Suez.
We're gonna get in. Bring into the Mediterranean.
Pretty sure.
From the Rock of Gibraltar, from Spain or whatever that.
You have to. Like,
You know, the,
Yes,
the,
you
the,
can-
the horns
yes.
of Africa.
Yes, you can go through there, and that's
that's
super
the
far.
Suez.
Yeah.
Right
No.
there.
No, the Suez goes right by Sudan.
Sudan and Egypt.
Yes.
Yes. Because I've been through the Suez.
Oh, I gotta look it up.
Well, if you weren't under the boat,
I was on the boat. I wasn't on the boat. I was under it. I was on it.
pull up a map.
We're pulling up.
Oh,
Guys, you can get in. You can get in by Spain.
We passed the Rock of Gibraltar, going through the Straits of Hormuz.
right. Which is
Yeah, which leads into the Med.
right.
So you have to go through by Spain. You're right. You
Right.
go through by Spain, but that's by the Rock of Gibraltar. It's the
Yeah.
Strait of Gibraltar.
Straight.
yeah, whatever.
So,
But that's the only. But that's still. If you don't go through the Suez, right
You're
there.
stuck.
Right.
So you can't bring.
But
you
the
can't
Black
bring,
Sea is right over.
Yeah, but
The
you
Black
can't.
Sea
You
is
can't
right
get there
there.
without going through the Suez
Right.
from the east.
yeah.
You can only get in through the west.
Right.
So all of our Pacific forces have to go through the Suez, or they have to go all the way around
Yeah.
through the Panama Canal to get back there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the Pacific.
Where do you think our biggest fleet is? It's here in the Pacific. So if you go this way, you have to go through the Suez to get there.
Well, who's going to stop us from going through the Suez?
Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Sudan.
Yeah.
Egypt controls it, right?
Egypt controls it.
Yeah.
So it's between both of them. We don't have really good relationships with Egypt right now.
No, we don't.
They don't even have a stable president right now.
We were probably in better with Trump. unfortunately.
Yeah.
Their government's not even stable.
No.
They're trying to oust the current president too.
Well, I know the Japanese prime minister came yesterday and talked to Biden and said, let's talk about China, and he's like pretty much said, no, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, because China said if you guys collude with Japan,
Yeah.
you're screwed. That means no more money,
Right.
right? That means we're gonna start a war in the Pacific.
Yeah.
I did like that thing on YouTube about if China tried to invade Taiwan. It at least takes 2 months for them to prep it up, and you see in
How long will it take us to get there?
not very long.
It'll take us longer than them.
No,
I mean, we've got ships filled around.
yeah, we got
there
ships, we got more
But
aircrafts.
they're a hell of a lot closer than we are.
We can drop people in.
I'm sure they can too.
They'd probably be calling all reservists
The Chinese
who
army.
are way past their due.
I think the Chinese army is pretty big, and if they wanted to mobilize around
Yeah,
the
but
war,
most of them are scripts.
The Chinese army is nothing to joke with.
Well, no, they just have plenty of men to throw.
Remember, they have 1 billion people too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so if they started
A
recruiting
billion people that are more freedom loving than they are communism. Communist.
Well, so it's funny. Did you see that if you put up anything on the internet that's against the Chinese government,
Our thing's just been shut down
They
already.
immediately find you and arrest you. So they have like watch groups now that are watching people who say anything negative. And in China they have the social scores now. So if you hang out with the wrong person, you won't be able to get a job.
Mhm.
Nobody will hire you. You can't take public transportation. So you can't take a bus. You can't take a train. You can't take a plane anywhere. So you're screwed. You're completely screwed by your social score.
Damn.
It's insane to live under that communist regime.
Well, did you do any stuff in Asia, Pacific
No.
area? No, just mostly.
Mostly, I went to Guam for a couple of weeks, but
Is that a vacation?
that was for a funeral.
Oh, that sucks.
So one of my Marines was killed by a fellow Marine in Afghanistan. So I did the funeral detail for that, but that was it. But I was there for a few weeks. That was the longest I spent in Asia.
Hmm.
So,
But Guam's pretty nice, right?
no, it's like on the coast, like if you're on a resort, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I heard it's kind of like Kauai conditions.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I know Guam's not
It's
nice,
beautiful.
but right.
Oh, it's beautiful until you get further in to the island, but it's like it takes 4 hours to circulate the whole island. So
Isn't that where they're putting the new Marine bases at?
there's trying to, dude.
Trying to, right?
I don't see it ever happening. There's just not enough space. They were talking about using because the Marine I was there for, he was from a small island off of Guam, Rota, Northern Mariana Islands, and like they were talking about, there's some islands that are uninhabitable. They were talking about using those to be able to do artillery shoots and stuff like that, but there's just not enough space. I mean, the Navy base, the big Navy, is beautiful. It's a gorgeous base, super cool. They got some really good beach space up there, but there's just not enough housing. Not enough housing at all.
Yeah.
So
Especially add on the bigger base.
yeah,
How many Marines are in Okinawa anyway?
a lot. I mean, a lot. It's probably, I mean, the biggest base we have is 29 Palms. So that's the largest Marine Corps base. And all that is just training area.
Yeah.
So,
You weren't stationed there, were you?
I was briefly.
Briefly. Everybody who ever says anything about being stationed at 29 Palms did.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. So it was great.
Oh.
But I was confined to base. I mean, I wasn't. It's like I wasn't.
Not like I can go and
anywhere.
see anything.
But like Palm Springs was an hour away. Everything was within 2 hours. Las Vegas
Vegas.
was within 2 hours. I mean, so they did MWR trips and stuff to Vegas and to San Diego and all those other places. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Palm Springs is right there. We would hang out in Palm Springs, but that was about it.
Yeah.
So
A makeshift city out in the desert.
yeah, and then Charlie Manson's followers were out there somewhere too.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, it's like the paradise in the desert, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So everybody else goes to play golf and hang out on vacation. And it's super expensive.
It was the first time I'd ever seen a windmill field. It was going from
Oh.
Palm
From what?
Springs to 20.
The windmill fields.
Windmill fields.
Oh.
Dude,
Okay.
it was huge. First time I'd ever seen it.
Nothing's cool. Nothing's cool. You don't realize how big those are till you can stand at
Yeah,
the base
Stand
of
at
one.
the base of one.
Yeah,
We-
exactly.
One of his buddies has their farm out west of here has one on the property, Like, they're so big, but then you go stand at the base, you're like, fuck, this thing is monster. Like,
it's massive.
you looking from the road, you're like, it's big, but then you get there, you're like, holy shit. Like,
and just think it's people have to climb it, and
it's amazing how big the thing is at the top, like up there, like
that little room area.
Yeah, like it's huge up there. You stand up there, walk around up there, so you think of like a little house, but
the only problem with those things, none of those blades are recyclable, right? They have to take them, throw them out.
I was thinking though, they should let all the homeless live in those.
Yeah,
Top of those,
right?
If you can make it up there, you get to live for free.
They're free.
Right.
Monitored every once in a while. If there's a problem, we'll call you if you need a fuse change or something, a light change.
Yeah, right.
We call you. That's your rent. I mean, we just went through down to Tennessee, and right through Kentucky, there was a section where there was for an hour and a half. There was just every which way you looked, there was just fields filled. I'm like, dude, there's got to be 20,000 things. That's 20,000 people off the street. Go live in the windmill.
I'd like to see him do something better with renewable energy.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Well,
Maybe.
what's amazing is how fast solar's growing. What I love is you don't see a building built now without solar.
Yeah.
And then by me on Randall Road, it was pretty cool. They were building a building, but in the front, the ditch was all solar panels. It was a whole solar field. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. Like, it's truly taking off now. It's finally like becoming a thing. It's not like, oh, some people have it every once in a while, but
They just put a solar field in over at Eastside Sports Complex
yeah.
Really?
recently. Yeah. So I mean, and then you go to Camp Lejeune. All the military was on board with it years ago.
Yep.
So like they built brand new base housing at Camp Lejeune. Every house that went up had solar panels on top.
smart.
They were trying to go away from the coal power plant on base, and so they started. But then now they have fields filled with solar panels just to provide energy for the base.
But you got to have the battery space to keep the batteries.
Yeah, you got to have a place to have.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen though, like, right? So in the future, like, this much solar panel is going to become this much solar panel.
Yeah.
And so the problem is right now they're just not efficient. They lose a lot of energy on storage. But because we can't make superconductors here, they can make them in space in an anti-gravity environment. We have semiconductors here. Once they can figure out how to make superconductors massively up there, start bringing them here, you're going to see solar jump and batteries jump.
Usher in Elon
100
Musk.
years. Yeah. I mean, look how much batteries have gone. Look how much batteries have changed in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
My Energizer Bunny got big.
my old phone was 2 years old. I had to charge, I think, throughout the day to get it. This phone, I charge it once and it lasts till 3, 4 in the morning.
Right.
I play games and all that shit. I used to play a game your phone would last for 30 minutes. That was 5 years ago. I can sit here and play games, I watch movies on here all day long.
Yeah.
The battery lasts till 3, 4 in the morning. Didn't used to. Right? If I didn't charge it during the day, it's like, oh, I'd be dead by 5 o'clock.
So what have you been up to?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Working mostly.
Mostly.
So yeah, I was running late. We had a window guy at the house quoting us on windows.
It's amazing how much windows are, isn't it?
You know what? And so we had a guy out there a couple of years ago, and he came in and he quoted us like $25,000 for 10 windows.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I was like, yeah, we're gonna think about this. I just never called him back.
I know a guy that he does it.
So so this company came and knocked on our door. It was one of those people that it's tough because you don't want to, this company's based out of Philly.
Well, after this, I'll get you this guy's number.
Yeah.
You give him a call.
Okay.
Frank.
Well, this guy was awesome, so we're already trying to lock on financing and stuff.
All right, but give him a call because he does really good work. He did all my windows in my house.
Yeah.
And he's an old school carpenter.
Okay.
And he does good work, and he doesn't do,
right.
Like if something needs to be done, that's got to be right. He'll fix it. He'll get it done right.
Sounds like my dad.
Yeah, I mean, he does great work, and what you can buy the windows yourself.
Okay.
And save a whole lot more money.
Yeah. So I mean, he came out and he gave us a quote, and I was floored about how much less he was than the last company that came out, and I was like, okay, I can see us getting our money back out of the house whenever we sell it for this guy. And to be honest, the windows could have been junk, but the guy who was in there talking to us, Joe, he was such a phenomenal guy that I would have bought the windows off regardless. Like,
good salesman, man.
I mean, he showed up at 11, and he's still at the house talking to the wife, and it's 3:40. But he went through everything, explained everything. Felt super comfortable with him. He was, great guy.
Well,
awesome salesman.
How many windows?
So we're getting 13 if everything goes through. 13. So, and that's to include one architectural window.
Nice.
That we
Okay.
have. So
that makes a huge difference, man. You get like the double pane thermal windows.
Mm-hmm.
You never believe how much of a difference that makes in the house.
Exactly.
Fuck.
And I didn't, and I knew our windows were bad. I didn't realize how bad they were until like I was walking through the house with him today, and he wasn't even saying anything, and he was just measuring windows, and I was like, oh god, look at that one. That one's terrible.
Were those also Shodin's homes?
I have no clue who
I
built
wonder-
the homes. I think so.
I'm just wondering, most of those homes on the east side were.
Yeah, I want to say it was a Shodin neighborhood at the very beginning. I'm not 100% on that. I couldn't tell you.
And where you notice is your thermostat. When you're like, normally in the winter we'd have our heat at 72. Now we can't turn it above 65, and we're cooking in here.
And yeah, so like in the wintertime, like this winter especially, I mean, it was like I had the heat cranked up to 70 something. I was like, I can't. It's so cold, and every morning I wake up and there's a draft. It just to the bone chills you, and I was like, we gotta do
I
something.
put 3M plastic every year in my living room, bedrooms.
Right.
Because you could, I mean, like we did the little yarn test where you tape the yarn on the window to see all the leak. Man, those things were sticking straight out.
Yeah.
I'm like, the window's closed. It's like this. Like, might as well have the window open. It's this bad.
Yeah. So we're getting siding on Friday.
Oh,
Our
nice.
new siding is getting installed Friday, so it's like.
Are you getting the old siding, or are you letting them take it?
I'm letting them take it. Just take it.
When
The price of aluminum is not enough right now for me to even
When I had
worth my time.
When I had my house before I lived with my girlfriend, we got a hailstorm, and State Farm came out and replaced all the siding on the house, and the garage was separate. And the guy's like, "What do you want done with siding?" I'm like, "Well, it's 50 cents a pound." I'm like, "Just stack it right there." We fucking stripped all the styrofoam off it, took it in, got like $2,500
Yeah.
cash. I'm like, that was well worth it for an hour worth of work to pull this styrofoam off, man. It was so much of the time. The best thing was there was a guy in the neighborhood who was became a fucking crack addict.
Nice.
And so my girlfriend at the time knew him and knew his girlfriend. So he started taking the aluminum siding off his house to pay for the crack.
Oh,
But it was funny because it was only done up to like halfway. And we're like how can we stop doing it the rest of the way?
Must not have been that desperate.
No, he was so fucking desperate. He didn't want to do the work. He fucking turned his ladder in. He took his aluminum ladder and couldn't get up any higher because before he was taking off the back so no one could see. Then he had to go around the front and the sides, take the rest of the aluminum off because he sold his ladder. And that's thinking like couldn't get to the rest of the siding.
Couldn't you give him a few bucks?
No, I'm like, man, he's that bad. You could have come by. I would have bought him a cheeseburger or something. Jesus Christ! I'm ripping the siding off your house. You're in bad shape.
All right, we're about halfway, so we're going to read off the question for the free bag of coffee. And so it's kind of like a two-parter. You want to read it?
Okay.
All right. And
All right. So it's who can bestow an honorary rank for the Marines. So if you're not a Marine, you're not enlisted, you're not a who can give you an honorary rank? There's 5 big ones that's happened throughout history. You guys will know the names and recognize them, but you guys just have to tell us who has the power and authority to be able to do that. And that'll win you your bag of coffee of your choice.
yeah, and if you come up with a couple names, some of these names are pretty interesting.
And if you come up with a couple of the names, we'll throw a couple extra stickers in the pack for you. Just give like 2 of the people that's happened for. They're well known, so.
Do you know?
Well, he knows now.
Well, I knew before.
That's what you didn't know. Not that you didn't know before, but
This was the only one I haven't heard of.
yeah,
Really?
That one, yeah. But this one, this guy is
of course, right?
100%.
But-
He's pretty awesome.
But you know the fifth one or fourth one down was a rank of a high rank.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then then you've got the one who was given. He was a Marine, but then was given an honorary rank afterwards. So.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know this one.
Yeah, that one's just.
This one I assumed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one either.
Yeah, I met him in Iraq.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really? I got to meet.
He met you when I left.
Yeah. And he turned around and got on the helicopter. Whenever he was leaving, and turned around. I was like, and that's why I hate you. So one of my buddies walked up to him and was like, hey, you want a beer? He's like, yeah. I was like, so would I.
They didn't have hot and warm beer for you guys?
Oh, they had the beer. They had a lot of
Oh, that's
near
right.
beer.
That's right. When you're there, you couldn't get it. That's
They
right.
had near beer. You had the
Yeah, near
Budweiser or
I thought once you're on a base,
Jesus Christ.
it was our country's rules on that base. It was considered American
no,
soil.
No.
No.
As a matter of fact, we were all shocked whenever we got there to see condoms, like in the store, and I was like, "Really? Like, it's all dudes here? What are we here?" But
That was during Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
yeah, well, but it turns out like they started doing it because the army had females there. So there
not
was
sex
females
while you're in
certain
the
bases,
military.
and they just pushed them.
Oh, JT got it.
Well, read his answer.
Only.
about-
Oh, you go ahead, read it.
What about only the Marine Corps Commandant?
Yep, very right.
It must have been the Marine Corps.
Good job, JT.
JT, you know any of the names of the 5 honorary Marines? Without Googling?
Google if you got to.
Wasn't that trained into
We'll-
your heads
we'll
in the
tell
Marine
you.
Corps?
What?
Those
I
names?
used to tell my Marines all the time. GTS, motherfucker.
That,
GTS.
That's how they used to count off. It's like 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Exactly. Yeah, right. I used to tell my Marines all the time. GTS.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, what's the rank on that? Or what's the order, Marine Corps order on that? I was like, GTS. Google that shit.
So JT, DM us or messenger, whatever
Yeah,
they,
just send your
whatever you
address.
kids say these days.
Don't do it on public. Just send a private message.
Yeah,
to us
private
with your
message.
address unless you want everybody here to show up.
And try to take your gun barrel coffee away from it. Let us know if you want it whole bean or ground. Which one?
I think he's.
That's pretty good and pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually go sit here and beg till the end of the show.
Who's got the answer?
Someone to get the answer. Now, if somebody else comes up with the one of the 5, we'll send you guys a cool sticker or stickers.
Yeah.
Anybody answer.
I noticed your storefront's got a lot more stuff in
Yeah. Yeah. Got the popcorn, Patriot popcorn there. Horse spice.
it. Yeah. You guys got a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
I got lost shit into a small space.
That's right.
There's about 100 now? Really? I'm sure there
I
are.
imagine.
I can imagine.
Just give them away, man. Like left and right.
Oh, yep. JT got it.
What did he say? So now
Bugs
everybody's
Bunny.
reading his thing.
Bugs Bunny.
There you
He
go.
gave, he gave it done.
Everybody's watching that, so you gotta shout it out. Bugs Bunny's one of them. Yep. The other one's pretty obvious from early wars constantly.
Yeah, fewer than 100.
Yeah.
Honorary Marine titles.
So I wonder how many are in the other branches.
No,
Nobody wants to be a
Nobody
soldier.
else has. They have no other honorary.
Nobody
ranks
wants to be
in
a
any other
soldier,
branches.
an airman, a space cadet.
Seaman.
That's why I wonder.
Nobody really ever wants to be a soldier.
When you join, are you a space cadet? Is that the first?
I
rank?
think so.
You
I
are.
think-
I think you're a space cadet.
Yeah, with air.
I want to join just so I can be
That
a
would have
space
been a
cadet.
good question too.
What are you?
What are
I'm a
the
space
rank,
cadet.
what's the rank structure of the Space Force?
Cadet, space cadet. Oh, do you think they're gonna have a space academy?
Private space cadet.
Now I wonder if they'll have to establish a space
They
academy.
do.
They're fun.
It's in the Air Force Academy.
Yeah,
Right,
but
that's
but that's not like the space
Well,
academy.
because the
They need
Space
their
Force.
own. They need their own like space
No,
academy.
the Space Force is like the Marine Corps, the Department of the Air Force.
For now. It'll
I wonder if they would say we're in the men's department,
It'll
or
split
they
up to
say
its own branch because the space guys will have to be better than the Air Force guys.
They're using the same. They're
Same?
using the same rank structure as
Oh.
the
Yeah.
Air Force. That's gay.
They don't have cadets.
No.
Son of a bitch.
E1's a specialist.
They call it E1 specialist.
Specialist first class, and then specialist second class, specialist third class.
Boy, I'd get messed up in the guy.
Specialist four.
You're a
spec four-
specialist?
Spec four.
Spec 4.
And then sergeant, tech sergeant. That's
Yeah.
should have done something fun with that.
Yes.
Guardian 1, Guardian
Yeah,
2.
right.
Right? Could have made so many awesome things for that.
Like commanders, like the galaxy.
like, you're Mr. Universe.
Awesome Galaxy Commander.
That would have been awesome, Mr. Universe. And then like
You know, they're going. "Roar."
his ONPF photos. Like, that's terrible.
It is, but it's fine.
So I don't know. They got that one TikToker who's kind of funny. Who puts like chicken heads on his fingers and like
I don't know.
he does spoofs of like every branch of the service or whatever. It's usually like drinking and like how soldiers drink, and then like how Marines drink. So it's kind of funny. He's funny.
Kind of like the one where they always do the Air Force. It's like a nice table,
Yeah.
cloth,
Yeah.
pouring wine.
Yeah, right.
If you guys got any questions for us, go ahead and shoot it out to us. Do that tap, tap, tap on the keyboard or your phone.
Yeah, I'm usually watching from my phone.
Yeah, most people are, I think. Not too many people really have home computers anymore.
Right. Well, yeah.
They have laptops or tablets.
If I'm in the car driving, I'll throw it up just because I mean, I only got like 2 viewers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Four
we have 3
now.
today.
It's funny, the laptop's a pain in the ass anymore. It didn't used to be.
It
It's
is.
like awesome, but like I get the laptop out, I gotta plug it in because it's gonna die during it. Gotta set it up. The phone's like right there now, and who cares? It's funny, like 10 years, 20 years ago, how can I get the biggest TV screen possible to watch movies on? Now I watch
Yeah.
more movies on my phone and more videos on my phone than anything. What did JT say?
Just ordered some of your coffee, so go ahead and give the free back to someone else. Never was a Marine, but worked with many over the years back in the day. Our unit was in Germany, cycled our dog handlers into Lebanon when the Marine barracks were blown up. Oh, in the early 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for your service, JT.
Yep, thank you.
thank you for your generosity and donation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely donate the bag to some a charity locally.
Yeah. Homeless shelter for veterans homeless shelter.
There, we do.
Down in Lombard.
Yeah.
We donated big to the one in Wheaton 2 years
Okay.
ago.
You know that might be the one. Same one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
That's
Same
awesome.
one. Lombard Wheaton.
That place is awesome. Like
It's phenomenal.
we went there to go drop off the check tonight, and I didn't realize they actually have a store for them right there up
Mhm.
front where free. Come in, get what you want. They take all the donations and shit. Like they need clothes, shirts, ties. They get jobs, whatever they need, food,
Right there.
toilet paper, all right there. That place is awesome. The people take their time to go do that and
It's-
help make that happen.
I mean, it's great. I mean, and then it helps them get their services started. So that, you know, any type of claims, whatever, they got people on site to do all that. It's
Yeah.
pretty phenomenal. So, which is one of the biggest problems that I've noticed a lot of lately. And my boss and I were just talking about it the other night. He's an Army vet, and he was asking me questions about VA and stuff. He's like, "There's so much I'm missing out on that I didn't know was
yeah.
available to me."
yeah.
And I was like, "The only way you really hear about it is word of mouth." So
Yeah.
It's a shame that that's not better set up. Shit, my dad was in Vietnam. He didn't take advantage of it until he was in his
Right.
mid-50s.
Right.
And that's when he started finding out that he had all these benefits he could have had for all his time.
Right.
You know, his buddies they were in Nam, same thing. Like they all found out about it in their mid-50s.
Right.
Even the guys coming back now. I think part of it too is you guys are taught not to show any weakness, so don't go apply for benefits or say you're disabled.
And that's the
Have these
worst
issues.
part too, because that's how I felt whenever. I mean, it took me forever just to go get help.
Yeah, same here.
And I never even thought about it, and was like, "No, it's weakness. It's weakness. It's weakness." And then it's like, you know,
There should be a better exit process. Like it's come
So-
out, you meet a counselor, you meet a fucking employment counselor.
right.
They have all these jobs lined up. Hey, for what you did, here's employers that are looking for this type of work. We have this type of skills. They help you put together a resume. They help you. They prepare you for interviews. They help you go to counseling. You have maybe like 3 or 4 exit interviews before you just go out back out in the world, and then you say, hey, if you need some additional help, this is what you do.
Right.
Here's how you contact the VA. Here's the process. What kind of things you deal with now? Let's keep track. If they get worse, like that should be a connection for the
But
sacrifice
see,
you make.
when you out process, you want to get that out of there fast, right?
So
you say, "Yeah, I'm good."
the Marine Corps is completely different. Like, so to get out of the Marine Corps, you have to go Marine Corps and Navy, as far as I know. You have to go through SEPs and TAMPs. So SEPs and TAPs is it's a class. So you show up and they tell you first. The first thing they tell you is, do not show up in uniform. That's the first thing they tell you.
Really?
Show up in appropriate civilian attire.
Hmm.
And then they bring a guy in. So I was in Lejeune. So they brought a guy in from the Illinois Department of Employment and Security or whatever. And this guy came in and taught classes every day. We had to write resumes.
Oh,
We had to go through interview
That's
processes.
smart.
We had, he would go over mock interviews. He would show us if we were staying in the area. He would hand us like job fair
That's
sign-ups and
exactly
stuff,
how it should be. That's smart.
which is great. And then they had like all these colleges, like one of the technical colleges from Ohio came in for welding, and then they had a VA guy come in and talk briefly about veterans benefits and VA services and stuff like that. So it was pretty awesome.
That's smart. That's how it should be for everybody.
And it was like a week-long class that you had to be at.
That's awesome.
It was great. So
it's great. Rather than just buy.
Yeah, it was
never see you again.
I mean, but it's still like at the time, like so I was going through a medical process to get out of the Marine Corps. So I was just sitting there, like, okay, what do I know I have to get out, and I know I'm gonna have to cover these. So what am I doing? And so I signed up for it, but I didn't know when I was getting out of the Marine Corps yet. I had a package started. I was checked out, ready to go, but I had no idea. It could have been tomorrow, next week, whatever. Yeah. So I just went and did it. But then I was trying to find jobs at the same time. And how do you tell somebody when you can start?
Right.
If you don't know when you're getting out, you know.
Yes, hi, John. Slayton. He's been slacked.
Thanks for going.
Then slat again, and slat again.
Okay.
So, but it was an awesome process. I think it could be refined for sure.
Yeah.
They did have companies come in that were hiring for certain situations, and
that's great.
There was a company out of Pennsylvania that was looking for technicians to work on their excavating equipment and stuff like that. And so it was pretty cool. It was well set up, well thought out.
But
and
that's the way it should be.
They won't let you get out of the Marine Corps unless you've gone through it.
Well, the Army has something similar to it, but like when you go, the out process is like everybody wants to get out in a hurry.
Yeah.
So you go your out process, go through your medical. I guess if you do have something wrong, you have to stay in longer than go through medical, right?
Yeah.
So most guys don't want to. You're talking about college people and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if that college or that work is not in your area we're going to go home to, it doesn't matter to you, right? It's like,
it does.
Like, no, I'm going back to Geneva, Illinois. This place is in...
Well, when you came back, right, they did it where you were exiting, right?
They did it. They did it at Camp Lejeune. So
right.
And so I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I was like, my option. My wife's from New Orleans. Like my options, I still hadn't decided where I was moving to yet. So it was like, okay. But once I got out, it was a completely different story. It was like all the work I did on my resumes and everything else. Like I felt like I was frustrated because I spent so much time and effort putting into it. I mean, I got out, and the first thing I did, which was what the guy at Sepson's Amps told us to do, was go get a suit. You're going to need a suit for interviews. So I'm applying for all these jobs, resumes out there, doing this, and that was 6-7 months.
Wow.
Before I even, before I gave up, enrolled in Universal Technical Institute, and then got a job at Jiffy Lube making $7.25 an hour. And I was like, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
So it was what it was. It was difficult.
Well, I mean, that's where it should kind of be ongoing. Is like, hey, check in 2 months. Hey, how's the job hunt going?
Right.
Hey, how you doing mentally? How you doing physically? What's going on? What can we do to help you? Hey, let's make some connections. By this point, the Marine Corps, the Air Force, the Army, the Navy should all have massive connections with all these, all the private contractors they spend billions of dollars with. Should have connections with them and be like, hey, tell us what you need next. Oh, we got a guy coming out that has that skill. Let's get him over there. Talk to him.
So one thing, so I work for the Postal Service now as a mechanic. It's a great organization, great job, and it's so veteran friendly that it's almost impossible for a veteran to not get a job working for the Postal Service.
Nice.
And then your military time, you can buy it back and transfer it over to your retirement with the Postal Service.
That's awesome.
But nobody knows, not a whole lot of people know this stuff. So I'm like, why isn't the Postal Service sending somebody to every base? We're always hiring. We're always hiring. And send somebody out to go to these different classes to explain the benefits of being a Postal Service employee. I mean, the Postal Service.
Right. Probably most people get out of the military, they're not thinking Postal Service. Because they probably don't realize all the jobs that are available.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to be a military. Well, that's not the job that's for you. The job for you is mechanic. They have a massive fleet.
Exactly.
Oh, you're an airframe mechanic? Oh, they have a massive fleet of planes that need repair. Oh, you're a pilot? They have a massive fleet of planes. Right? You get a heavy wheel vehicle mechanic? Oh, shit, they have a ton of fucking trucks that need repair.
Exactly.
They do have their own fleet of aircrafts?
I don't know.
Well, we piggyback off of FedEx and UPS. So our largest customers are Amazon, UPS, FedEx.
It's funny. Amazon's killing post office, but at the same time, the post office does a shitload of business because of Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right. It's like being it's like frenemies.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fucking killing us, but man, without you, we couldn't survive right now.
So we do a lot of shipping ground side for UPS, FedEx, stuff like that, getting them to there. So I mean, it's not uncommon.
I wonder if
for us
that's.
to
I wonder if that's part of Amazon's plan though, is to like, they're like, man, we spend a lot of money at the post office. How do we cut them out of the process?
Oh, it's
The drone delivery.
it'll be coming soon.
I still can't believe the drone delivery exists.
Yeah,
Our friend in Virginia had it. They filmed it. The fucking thing came to their driveway, had a crane, lowered the package, and took off. I'm like, that's so unreal to me that actually is real. I
Right.
can't believe it.
right.
But what happens when people start shooting them out of the sky?
They don't go to jail.
Yeah, they're not going to jail.
The same thing. What happens when people start shooting UPS drivers? The same thing. They go to jail.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying.
I mean, people have gone postal for the last 20 years.
I fully see Elon Musk being the next
Mhm.
guy to take over any type of postal operation.
Yep.
For sure.
Wait till that the fucking tube train.
Oh, yeah.
It's up and running. It's faster than an airplane.
Are
It's
you
cheaper.
talking about the
Hyperloop.
the Hyperloop that's supposed that they
Some-
want to put in from like Pittsburgh to Chicago?
Yeah, 750 miles an hour. They're already finishing the one from San Francisco to LA, but that's 750 miles an hour. So faster than an airplane, cheaper, easier to load, quick.
Me, Mike, I'm the one not wearing pants. Literally, I'm wearing shorts.
Shorts.
That's not a bad difference.
He came in here with his sexy underwear.
I did.
It's almost warm enough. It's almost
Still have
summer.
on? Just my regular black one. My wife has a boxer subscription from Shinesty.com for me, and I get a new pair of underwear every month,
What?
and they're always something fun.
Dude, you must have like 30 years of underwear because one pair of underwear as a guy lasts like
No,
10 years.
No, so like, and these ones, they're not great quality, but they're fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, shit. I mean, a good pair of boxers last a good 10 years. As far as I'm concerned. My wife's like, this has holes in it. I'm like, I know. So,
yeah, I mean,
like the best pair.
That's
They're like the
part.
most broken in.
So they've got a ball pouch,
Nice.
right?
Oh,
Which
really?
is awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
So it keeps your balls off
Cool.
your legs.
They're not stuck to your thigh.
And as a guy who has to work in the heat of the summer, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So nothing's worse than when you're wearing
Yeah.
boxers and they give up
Yeah.
in the middle of summer and like they start sagging in the middle. You got no ball support and your balls are just stuck to your legs.
Exactly. So
hate
and
that.
then but they have different like designs. Like
Yeah, I see that.
so, one of my pairs is balloon animals humping each other, which is pretty
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And then they had like Christmas time. They had like Santa like and the reindeer fucking each other and stuff. It was awesome. So it was just great.
You want to give the name of the company so everybody knows now?
Oh no, I don't. Because they're not paying me and
They're
they're
not-
not sending me
I
free
know.
shit.
They're not supporting us. They're not
Yeah.
sponsoring us.
So
If they want to be a sponsor though, you can reach us at contact at gunbarrelcoffee.com.
right. So they
We'll take all sponsorships.
right. So they can. I mean, once they start, selling your coffee on
This
their
podcast brought to you by.
website, right? Then we'll start. Yeah, give us a sponsorship and you're good. So,
Well-
oh look, they got the naughty gummy bears.
Nice.
Naughty
That's
guy.
awesome.
Oh, that's fun. Oh.
See, isn't that great? So
So to answer JT's question,
What's JT's
I was-
question?
he was asking who's all in the military. I was in the Army,
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
I'm not service.
Brian, civilian in the reserves.
Nope.
Brian's
In case all of us die.
This didn't work out.
Brian's in the support role.
I'm well armed.
Yeah,
So I'm ready to join the well organized militia that exists behind
Yeah.
the scenes in this country.
Yeah.
When Biden starts taking away amendments, because they're malleable. Is that what he said? Malleable, changeable. No amendments are set in stone.
Yeah,
You
no,
have to-
yeah, no.
Something about that.
He'd have to be able to pronounce them without
I
forgetting.
just want to see. I just wanted to ask him. So, which amendment has been taken away? Which in history? Which amendment did we take away? Which amendments are you okay with taking?
You can always add, but never take away.
The first time you take away one, I know there's people out there who are against the Second Amendment. The first time you take away one, that means all the rest are fair game.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not.
Remember that.
It's so stupid.
Because it's coming.
So
to a
stupid you
theater
don't get it.
near you.
It means you're a gun nut if you're for the Second Amendment. No, it has nothing to do with the Army. It's because Adams was so pissed off when we fought the British that we didn't have any guns. He couldn't believe how stupid we were that we had no guns.
Right.
He said, "How do we let ourselves get in this position to have no guns to fight against anybody who might come to war with us?" That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
We had to steal weapons from the British to fight back against them. It was so dumb. He said, "We can never let this happen again." So
In
that's why they wrote the Second Amendment.
And the First Amendment, because you couldn't speak against the king, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
The Second Amendment protects the First Amendment.
right.
Yeah.
You don't get. This is exactly what happens in the regimes. Is the first thing you do is unarm the citizens.
Yep.
Take the guns away from the citizens. Then you can start taking away rights at will. It's every country where the citizens don't have the rights to own weapons. You will see they are not free.
Yeah.
Look around the world. If you don't get that part, look at it. You want to give. People always give the UK as an example. Yes, you want to see the oppression of the UK? They have to fund a royal family that does absolutely nothing for the country. And make them multi-millionaires for generation after generation. If that's not...
That's not freedom.
No.
It's not freedom.
It's bullshit that you're under somebody's thumb. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard is you have a show family, but they're not just living okay. They're living multi-millionaire lifestyles and generations of their family. And they're funding pedophilia because that fucking Prince Andrew dude was over with fucking Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, God, it's disgusting. So that shit just be enough. You give up one, you give up all. 1 inch gives you all the room in the world to take more.
Oh yeah. It's working out pretty well for North Korea.
Right. You don't have to be a gun nut to support the fucking second
Working out pretty well for China.
It's funny that people just don't get that yet. And still, I just see the younger generation just so against it. Like that's what's causing shit. No, it's the criminals. No matter what laws you make, the criminals will still break the laws.
Yeah, even if you do outlaw guns, there's still knives, swords.
Mm-hmm. Murder's illegal. So did murder stop? Hell no.
Murder hasn't stopped.
The murder's rate's up higher than it ever has been, and murder's been illegal for 200 years.
Well, it's because you're defunding the police. You know.
Right, which is
just which was a thing I saw on Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland took away $30 million last year for this year's budget. They said, "Oh, hey, crime's going up. Let's give them another." They took away $30 million from the police and fire department, which makes no sense. Why would you take away from the fire department for one?
My favorite thing is anybody who bitches about the cops. Their first reaction when shit hits the fan is to go pick up the phone and call 911 and ask for the police. It's the first thing they're going to do. So if you're that against the police, then don't call 911. Handle the shit yourself.
You can't do that without a gun.
Right. Right. And you're unarmed, so now go handle the shit on your own. Someone comes in your house, whether they're armed or not, the first thing you're going to do is pick up the phone and call for the police and beg for help. But you're against the police, so don't. The funny thing we saw is, who's here? One of the departments. There was a anti-police rally. And what they reached out to the police department and asked for 100 officers for security.
Right.
Anti-police rally.
Yeah.
Is like, how are we not getting what the fucking paradox that is? Whether is that you don't, you're coming to protest against us, but you want us. I mean, they'll still go and provide the protection.
And you want us to protect you.
Right, but they'll go and they'll go and do it. They'll go and provide the protection for you to protest against them. That's the bad people you think are out there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if your 13-year-old has a gun.
Right. Well, it was like, so I just took Oliver to shoot for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
He was shooting. I was calling you to see if you knew of anybody who had ammunition. Cause it's
Right.
National ammunition shortage. Great. So I couldn't find any 9mm, so he had to shoot my 45.
Oh.
And so I was standing behind him, helping him hold it. But he was like, put it down after the first shot. Turned around and looked at me. and was like,
That's a cannon.
and I was like, oh god, he hates it. And he
Yeah.
turned around and was like, that was awesome. I started laughing. I was like, okay. Like, well, you got more to shoot. Let's go.
Yeah, I took both my girls when I was over with my parents because they have a free place to shoot. I just let them shoot off a couple 22 rounds.
Right.
But it's still just hard, especially for my younger one, because she doesn't have the strength or the length of her arm. So she just had fun shooting like 1 or 2 rounds. You know, my other daughter, the oldest one, had a couple rounds downrange. You know, it's just something to get them used to, right?
Right.
Because they need to learn how to protect themselves.
Right. Well,
Learn how to shoot. Learn how to handle.
the thing that was so enjoyable for me was how aware he was.
Mhm.
So before we left, we took it apart. I broke it down, showed him all the parts and pieces, named him off, let him get a feel for it, and then putting everything back together, and understanding the operation of it.
Of your pistol?
Yeah, of the pistol.
That's not bad.
So like I'm like, you gotta start them from the bottom. We went over the safety rules, we went over everything.
Mhm.
I mean, even down to how things apply between reality and fake.
Right.
Down to video. Like I wouldn't let him play video games where he was shooting people until he could tell me the importance of weapon. So. But and watching him see all that and start putting it all together, and was like, oh. And then the final was feeling the power of it was awesome for me. I really enjoyed it as a parent to teach that to him. So
Did you put a blindfold on and make him assemble the rifle? Or the pistol?
no, I didn't.
Oh, you gotta do it under 1 minute now. Go.
He's
No,
not
we're
ready
not
for
shooting
that.
today.
He's not ready for that.
You call him when you get this under 1 minute, then you can go
So-
shooting, and not until that point.
So yeah, that was pretty awesome. So
I guess
I think the more appreciation you have,
Yeah.
for it,
the more you understand what a killing power is. I think that's
Yeah.
often
Right.
parents are so afraid of letting their kids around guns. They don't teach them about it anymore.
right.
Then they think it's a toy when they pick it up. They don't get the.
Yeah, you gotta teach them the
So,
safety. Of it.
When I was kids, we played with guns every day. Every stick was a gun.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah,
Right? We had plastic guns that we played every day. But you got like as soon as you pull the trigger, I'm dead. Right? So you got it. Like this gun kills you. It's not a toy. It's not a Nerf gun. It's
yeah.
So
So
you
you
got.
remember the little
Right.
lever action
Yeah.
one that shot the air.
I remember my dad. We had the rack
Everybody-
in the basement with all the guns up there.
Yeah,
But I knew like not to touch them, not to fuck
Right.
around with them. If you picked one up, it was serious business once you picked one
yeah,
up.
yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
had the power to kill somebody, and you never pointed at anybody. I knew that when I was a young kid. Like you don't, even if you're looking at it, you don't fucking point at anybody or point at anything you don't want to destroy. Like I got that. My dad taught me the importance. It wasn't like don't look at guns. Don't. It was,
Yeah.
it was this is a gun. This is what it does. You understand what it does.
Now today, most kids don't even know. You know, if they see a gun, they get curious, right? And they want to pick it up.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah.
No, now you hear the stupidity of people who weren't around guns. Like the one woman who said, "Just let them shoot all their high capacity magazines, because once they do, they'll all be gone." The guy's like, "That's." And she was a councilman. He's like, "That's not how it works. You can reload them." No, once you shoot them, they're gone. No, it's not how. No, it's not how.
No,
it
that's
works.
not the way it works.
And then fully semi-automatic gun.
I love it whenever, like, you clearly people who have no idea what they're talking about.
Yes.
Don't.
It's heavy. It hurts you when you shoot it. What?
Right.
No, it doesn't hurt. It's not heavy. And
This one's semi-automatic. So you just hold the trigger and 100 rounds come out. No.
That's not how it works. You got a little barrel change in there. 'Cause
Yeah, no shit. That thing would be smoked. But it's like, no, magazine doesn't hold 100. No, it doesn't hold 100.
yeah, that's. I get why some people like the binary triggers.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but that's just a waste of ammo.
Yeah. For me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
more of a methodical focus. I'd rather see you die than wonder if I.
How
hit
many
you
times
with
do you
one
ever put it
hand.
on burst?
Yeah. Right. Never.
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 Never put it on burst.
Listen, I cringed every time. No, why?
Yeah.
It's a lot of carbon. I gotta clean out of this piece of shit. So, I'd rather know I hit you than spray a bunch of rounds and
Yeah.
see if I did. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a hell of a lot of fun to shoot a lot of rounds.
It is.
It is, yeah.
You know,
One of the most fun things I ever did
once or
was
twice.
I took his 9mm, my 9mm with the 30 round magazines in them. We had a bunch of milk jugs filled with water and fucking base bursts, just walking towards it, blowing off the rounds. Everything was exploding. It was amazing.
It is a ton of fun. That is. I mean,
nowadays that would cost $150
Like,
for
you have to
30
live-
seconds.
you've never lived until you've shot a 50 caliber.
Oh, no.
Or a 240 or a 249. Like, you
Yeah.
haven't lived. It's awesome.
Yeah. I never got to shoot the 240 Bravo, but the 60 yes, the SAW yes.
Yeah.
Oh, of course
the
the M16. But.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But then whenever you're cleaning later,
Oh, cleaning sucks.
it's like that was always my thought process. Like we'd go to the field, they give us blanks. I never fired.
I never
one.
fired mine
I
either.
never
Like,
fired one.
you
I'm
just
like,
go
no.
pew pew pew.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not.
I'm
shooting
done.
this. You.
This is
You didn't shoot nothing. You're right. I don't think I'm weapon. I just get a quick rundown. I'm done.
So,
Yeah, those new guys like, yeah, look at this.
yeah,
Like,
sucker.
it's like, you're gonna be there cleaning for a while.
Yeah. So I just.
Spiva says, I got a weapon for you to hold, Brian.
It's a Derringer. From what I've heard, Mike, it's a Derringer, and it barely gets one shot out. The shot usually rolls out the end of the barrel. From
Yeah,
what
it's
I
a
heard.
22 small.
Yeah,
It's
Or short, right? 22 short.
Sorry.
I heard the whole just barely rolls out the end. The barrel's really limp. It's been used up and pushed
That's
over.
terrible.
It is.
It's a lot of shade.
Yes, the Modus. Yes. That's what I would call an instant hard-on once you start firing it.
It is.
It is.
But you know what I liked more than the Modus? The Mark 19.
Mark 19?
I love the Mark 19.
That was fun. I got to fire it in practice to qualify for it,
Right.
but we weren't using HE, so...
No, I mean, is it just like being able to watch it go through the air? And then like, hey, $100 says he doesn't make it.
Well, you had the M209, right? Right, isn't it? Or 204.
You talk about the
Grenade launcher.
yeah, the 203.
203, that's
Yeah.
right. That's fuck, I can't remember that.
I mean, those were fun.
Yeah, but
not like
not now you can go thump 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 thump.
Belt fed is way more fun.
Yeah.
So
Was it only 40 rounds? Belts?
I want to say 40 round belts. I mean, You can go through all.
Oh yeah, you can.
Pretty quick, but
Yeah, those are fun.
so it worked out well.
So. All right, it's already 4:15.
We're there.
We're there.
Thank you everyone for joining us again. Next week again, same time, same back channel.
Keep your head on a swivel. Protect yourself. You know what?
Drink more coffee.
Just on a quick note, we actually had a couple people come in here and ask if we sell body armor or mask. And I said, well, no, we don't. But you know, you're gonna look for that kind of stuff. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be prepared for anything.
That was cool. What was we just said? Was it Germany who made the full body armor with the full mask?
Mm-hmm.
It takes a 50 round caliber.
That's pretty dope.
It was amazing. Like the dude's walking, gets shot in the head, and just he gets knocked back, but then he just keeps walking. Like holy shit, the dude just took a 50 rounder to the head and kept
I
going.
wouldn't want to be the person.
And if you know of any body armor companies that are hiring that need test subjects, give me a look.
You're good for it. They want to test the cup.
Yeah.
We want to test our new cup.
Dale, that is old school. The M79, the thump gun. I think you guys still had them in the Marine Corps, didn't you? You guys still probably have it
No.
today.
I mean, whatever the Army broke and left us, so yeah. we just make it work better. So.
Look, you put some 100-mile-an-hour tape and some 550 cord.
Oh, yeah.
It'll make anything work.
Mechanics wire.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you.
See you next
Thank
week.
you.
Thanks
See you
everyone.
next week. Have a good one.
Thanks much for joining us.
Hey, no problem. Sorry I was late.
That's no sweat.